Let's get another view on this from parenting expert Sue Atkins. She joins us now. Sue, careers advice for 5-year-olds. Does it work? Should we be doing it?
Well, I'm a former deputy head class teacher for over 25 years. And also it's about role models, and children can only aspire to what they know. So I think Lucy's right in terms of talking and listening and showing and experiencing broader things helps children have higher expectations. If you only limit yourself by what your mum and dad have become or do, then perhaps you don't know the possibility. So I'm all up for that. But I think it is in the quality of how you do it and the different people that you bring in to talk to people, to the kids. Also, don't forget about entrepreneurialism or being self-employed plumber or trade, doing some trade as well. It's important. I do think it's an interesting idea, and I think it raises children's expectations and parents as well. So good for them.
Well, so stay with us. We're going to take some calls now. We're going to speak to Henrietta from County Down. Henrietta, do you think 5-year-olds need career advice? Should it come in schools? Shouldn't parents be doing that?
Well, I'm mystified. I mean, life is moving so quickly. The options that you're going to present to a 5-year-old now and the role models you're going to present to a 5-year-old now just won't be there in 10 years' time. They'll be different. If you want them to become dinosaurs, that's the way to do it.
Very good, Henrietta. I like what you did there. But I think they're thinking of looking into the future for careers. So it would be, environmental industries and engineering and careers that absolutely will still exist when they go into the workforce.
Well, they'll be different.
They'll be different, yeah, but it'll still be there. If you're sitting there and maybe one of your parents is a postie and the other parent it doesn't work, then your views might be quite limited. It might be nice to get an aerospace person, like a spaceman or a space person, we spoke about that earlier, an astronaut, thank you, to come into the school to discuss what it's like to work in space and just expand a child's knowledge into something that they would never have thought of before.
They've got to do the physics first. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting point, and you think this might take away from the basics of education?
Yeah.
Thank you, Henrietta. Thanks. Brief. I like it. Aurea from Kent, do you think careers advice for 5-year-olds is worth the money? 2.6 million is quite expensive.
Hi, everybody. So I feel quite strongly about this. I've been a teacher for 15 years. Well, I've had my own school for 15 years, and I've taught for close on 20 years now. And I just see a complete change in the way that we approach all of this. There's so much more pressure being put on children. Also, the strive for them to do more as opposed to be the children that they are. And while I agree with what the lady was saying, I also agree with what JJ was saying. We need to expose children to a lot of different things. But if a 5-year-old, my daughter at 5 years old wanted to be the tooth fairy.
Good ambition, I like it. A lot of money involved in that.
Yeah, exactly. But I just feel they need exposure, absolutely, but they don't need it put to them in a form of this is career advice. I agree with what you're saying about let them see an astronaut, let them see a doctor, let them see a vet, the different options, and that they can be anything that they want to be because they can, but it should not be career advice. It should more be something that develop all your skills because you're going to change your mind by the time you're 10.
Well, yeah, Aurea, you're absolutely right on that. But could this actually, hold on, I just want to hear from Sue. Could this actually, Sue, be fixing children's mind into one vocation? You bring a vet in, they see that the vet works with puppies and that's it. That's all that child wants to do forever.
This is more about broadening horizons, expectations. It's going to be targeted to areas where children perhaps have low expectations. And it would be a wonderful thing to introduce all sorts of things, not just the professions. And you're right, the caller is right about things changing radically. My son's a social media content manager for the ECB. I mean, things change all the time, don't they? But this isn't just about career advice. Starting when you're 13 and being told that you could be a good librarian, which I was told for half an hour, about, that didn't really inspire me. But funny enough, when I was on a course looking at my life and everything with Tony Robbins, I actually realised I wanted to be a teacher when I was 5 or a journalist. And hey ho, that's sort of where I've gone in my life. So it's about expanding what you the possibilities, I think that's what it's about.
What about the pressures that were brought up, the pressures that children are feeling more and more these days? Have you seen that in your career?
Oh, well, yeah, it can be. But also, I tell you what I'd like the government to spend more money on is actually free school meals, because a hungry child can't aspire to anything very much apart from their hungry tummy. So, there's all sorts of things that the government can do. This is quite a good initiative. I think it's got to be carefully handled. How you do it is very important, and how you train up the teachers. But there are some great books around. I mean, I've got a book club, the Sue Atkins Book Club, and one of the authors in that has written some wonderful books about technology, smart city, self-driving cars, called Ava Chip Books. Now, that's a great book to read to children because it opens up all sorts of possibilities about where we're going in the world with technology. But it's about, helping them, not sort of guiding them through career advice, which all sounds a bit serious to me.
Let's get more views. Carol from Lancashire, what's your thoughts on careers advice for 5-year-olds?
Hello, good morning. I'm a bit nervous. My heart's going 10 to a dozen.
Oh,
but I agree with what the man in the middle said. 5-year-olds, all they want to do is play, and they have no idea, most of them, what they want to do when they do grow up. But ringing point is, did you say that it were going to be like 63,000 they're going to be putting towards this?
2.6 million.
Yeah, but that's for 600,000 children, which is like £4 a child. I mean, it's not that much money.
Spend it on school meals.
More money than they're spending on school meals, yes. Do you think that's a lot of money or not enough money, Carol?
On waste, well, it's not really wasting on 5-year-olds, but if they were going for the GCSEs, like the man in the middle said, then fair dues. But my point being is the pay rises these nurses and the other professions want. To me, they're wasting the money on something that should be going to the
Carol,
going to them nurses.
You managed to bring this whole show full circle right at the end. Well done, you. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your calls. Huge thank you to Sue Atkins for joining us on that one, as well as our wonderful panel, JJ and Lucy, this morning. We're going to be back at 9:15 on Monday morning. Until then, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you then.